How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Mullen Automotive, which ended up having a slight pullback, being down just over 6% on the day. Does this mean that the run is over? I don't think so. We'll talk about it further in this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for MULN. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $3.11, being down 6.04%. On the low, it tested $3.07, and then on the high, testing $3.49. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 155.615 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 317.073 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, and it's part of the reasons why we've seen a slight pullback in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 66.34. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, the 100-day, but we are above the 21-day EMA and as well as the 50-day. So what we were able to do, which looks very bullish overall with the pattern that we are seeing, we formed a higher low. We ended up testing 307 and showed some strength there. As far as for the high, we ended up getting to $3.49. So going into tomorrow, you're going to want to see some price action above 350. If we are able to do this, then the next level that you're going to want to keep an eye on, of course, is for us to actually get past right here around $3.63. And passing this level, that's where I'd want to look forward to seeing that move to 4. But do note, if we end up having some consolidation or we decide to pull back further, then I'm going to be expecting us to at least hold support above $2.90. This has shown to be a lot of demand in this particular area, and if we do break through that, then the next support level you'd want to look out for is around 245. And if it breaks through 245, then there's a potential chance we'll end up filling in this gap to the downside. But for now, what I want to see is that consolidation within this particular range, especially if the market conditions continue to be weak, so we can at least look forward to seeing a move to 4 prior to earnings on March the 30th. So let's see how the stock performs going into tomorrow. Let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the short interest information for Mullen. So the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 42.89%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 66.3 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 1.4 million, updated 5 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 20.86%, and this is the latest. And also we could see for the minimum, it was at 17.19, so it's creeping up there. And then when we take a look at the history of the short volume, you can see for the close of the 21st, it was at 38.77, and then for the close of the 22nd, being at 42.89. So what this shows us, Mullen does continue to have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for MULN. So we see on the inflow, it's at 113 million, and then on the outflow, it's at 97.41 million. So we ended up having an inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 37.21. On the medium, it was 63.49. And then on the small, it is 12.29. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 40.06. On the medium, it was 48.37. And then on the small, it was 8.98. 8. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you could see for today, March the 23rd, it being that outflow of negative 2.85 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. But then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 451.07%. So this is up there, but we are used to this with a stock like Mullen, especially when it's trading with above average volume. We've seen it well over 1000%. So seeing a decrease, and we did have lower volume on the day, is not surprising whatsoever. So let's go into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Mullen, I must say it didn't do too bad considering how the market conditions were. We did have an overall red day and we saw a lot of weakness inside of the tech sector. So knowing that it had a slight pullback, it was still able to form a higher low. I also mentioned this when I went on Twitter today. So the one thing that I want to see going into tomorrow is us continuing to hold up the $3 level. If we are unable to do that, then I'm looking forward to seeing some support right around $2.90. As far as the upside is concerned, if we start seeing some strength inside of the sector, we want to see some price action above 360, because breaking above 360 can get us to $4. So that's why you want to continue to keep this play on your watch list. We already know they do have a gap that needs to be filled to the downside, but with earnings coming up on March the 30th, I'm not seeing that gap being filled for this week. So that is good to hear, but again, there is a potential chance it could get filled if this market just falls off a cliff. I just want to make sure that I'm being very clear about that. But so far, things are still continuing to look bullish for Mullen. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. And we could see when we were taking a look at the short interest, the short volume ratio has been going up. So seeing a continuation of this, all we need is to have a strong green day inside of the market and more buying coming in, and this stock could take off. We also have to keep an eye on that volume. The volume is very crucial. We had lower than average volume for today, and the last thing that we want is to have the same thing happening on Thursday and as well as Friday, because as we see the price starting getting weaker, we know as far as retail is concerned, there's going to be a lot of selling. People are not trying to be left holding the bag. And the people who are deciding to hold the bag in this play probably do believe in the long-term prospects, but we know already as far as investors versus traders, trader volume is taking over here, especially when we were seeing volume of well over 500 million. So that's one thing that you're going to want to be aware of. And if you are thinking about being an investor in this play, I don't see any reason why you should be paying at these particular prices. That is just my personal opinion. But if you are a trader, just make sure you're paying attention to those support and as well as those resistance levels. It gets past 360, then the next level you want to see if it has some resistance is right around 390. And of course, with that break above 390, we can see that move to 4 and maybe get a potential move to 5 right before earnings. So I will continue to keep you guys updated inside the loop. I hope you enjoyed this video and I can't wait to see how MULN performs going into tomorrow. We'll talk soon.